What do professional truck drivers need to know about climate control systems before using or buying one to use in their trucks? Hello, I'm Vicki Simons with TruckDriversMoneySavingTips.com. Tonight I'm going to be addressing climate control systems, both the cooling and the heating part, and invite you to give me likes, shares, and hearts if you get value from this. I'm going to be sharing some information about this issue from our website, TruckDriversMoneySavingTips.com. And I know that we are now in October. This is October the 4th as I record this. So a lot of places around the country, including South Carolina, where we are, starting to get a little cooler now. Thank goodness. The heat of the summer was so oppressive this past summer. But you have a situation now where it's not just the cooling aspect for the truck, but now you're going to need to have some heat. Okay, so let me address the heat part first, because this is an issue for a lot of truckers, and we are going to look at how hot can a truck get. This is from the Hot Truck page of our website. I actually took a screenshot of this is a wonderground.com image from June 16, 2010, when it was 99.3 degrees outside, but the heat index was 107, and I gave the quote here from a Landline magazine, one issue of that, where Mike Joyce, OOIDA Legislative Affairs Director, said regarding truckers' ability to rest, when it's 100 degrees outside, it's 120 degrees in their truck. So obviously you know from the standpoint that, for example, you don't want to ever keep a dog or a cat as a pet in a hot vehicle, okay, because it can die, all right, as can a child. And I've got a whole bunch of information there about that on this particular website. All right, dangerous combinations, pets vehicles in summer heat, children vehicles in summer heat, and I go into a great deal of detail talking about the problems that can be associated with becoming too hot physically. There are heat-related illnesses and even death that can occur as a result of someone becoming too hot. And this cannot be underestimated, the amount of damage that we can do to ourselves. In fact, I remember one particular situation where Mike got overheated working and actually became physically ill as a result of that. There was also an article some time back about people who had been stuffed into a trailer. These were illegal aliens that were going to be smuggled across the border, and some of them died because it got too hot in the trailer. Of course, you realize there's not, unless it's a refrigerated van, it's not intended, okay, to have any sort of ventilation back there. But let's get talking about some of these specific climate control systems, all right? So, in a nutshell, you've got a situation where there are three basic ways to control a climate in your truck. Okay, either idling, and we have 9 pages on our website that are focused on idling alternatives, idling costs, all of that having to do with it. And obviously, part of the problem with idling is that you're using your truck motor, your engine, to keep it, you're keeping that running in order to provide the climate control, but you're not using the motor to help move the truck down the road. Okay, so it's basically very unproductive from the engine standpoint, and there are some statistics now that can be generated about that. And if a driver idles too much, with some companies, they can actually punish the driver. And we met, my husband actually met, when I was with him at the time, a particular gentleman. He actually had a certified clean idle sticker on the side of his truck, but if he idled too much, they were basically going to cut back the cap as fast as he could go in that truck to a lower speed, the maximum speed that he could go in a truck. So it was a punishment for him to do that. So if you can idle, if you have to idle for comfort, that could be a problem, especially in some places where there are restrictions about idling. You can actually literally be fined for idling your truck too long. Okay, even if you have one of these certified clean idle type stickers on your truck, if you have that kind of technology. So some of these places don't care. Okay, and I will refer you to the American Transportation Research Institute, ATRI's website, for the most up-to-date idling regulations, restrictions, laws, ordinances, that sort of thing, so that you're not in trouble as a result of that. The other two means by which to keep comfortable in your truck are through a battery-powered or a diesel-powered system, all right, and an APU could be one of those. I've actually heard of APUs being both battery and diesel-powered, so it depends upon what it is that's going on. But if you're going to be shut down for a long period of time, it does not make any sense, in my opinion, whatsoever, to have a battery-powered unit, because obviously the charge is going to be drawn down in those batteries, and eventually you're going to have to crank that truck back up and idle just to get the charge back up, and it basically defeats the purpose of having that. So I want to briefly go over, there was a specific brand of a truck AC, so to speak, that was installed on one of the trucks that Mike's trucking company had back in 2010. I was riding with him at that time. It was very hot in South Carolina, and this particular unit was a battery-powered unit, and I gave the pros and the cons on our page, which I will list the links to these under the broadcast when I'm done. But I said down, it's about halfway down the page, battery charge. It must be understood that this system is totally powered from the batteries, that the batteries must be charged. Since this system is totally powered from the batteries, that the batteries must be charged before the unit can operate. Mike was told that the batteries must be fully charged before the unit can run for the first time, and this would take several hours to accomplish. Now, this particular unit had a separate bank of batteries to run off of, but obviously they were connected to this system. All right, so not only that, the batteries need to maintain a certain charge in order for the unit to continue to operate. So the claim that there's no engine noise and no diesel emissions is only true after the truck is turned off, and obviously the truck must be running to charge or recharge the batteries. Okay, the tractor-trailer truck air conditioning unit will use, supposedly, according to this information, on average 350 watts per hour. Usage will vary, of course, based on conditions. If there's a heavy draw on the batteries, the truck will need to be turned on more often in order to recharge the batteries. This could be a problem in no idle zones. Of course, some drivers will not be operating the truck's air conditioning only when they're on their 10-hour rest breaks. Running the AC could occur anytime that the truck is parked, is warm, and drivers want to be cooler, such as at the shipper's or receiver's facility in the heat of the day. It would be tremendously inconvenient for the unit to conk out due to lack of battery power during the time that the driver chose to rest or nap. And I talked about how this particular unit weighed less than the 400-pound exemption for an APU to be installed on a truck in some places. I also gave some pros and cons regarding the airflow capacity and the comfort of this unit. Most of these were negative, as in we could not redirect the airflow, and the fact that it could not keep up with keeping the entire cab with the sleeper berth curtains open in the heat of the day during the summer. All right, we literally had to pull the sleeper berth curtains closed in order for the air conditioning, this AC unit, to be used to keep that area only comfortable enough to be basically so we wouldn't get run out of the truck. Okay, even when there was a a shade in the front windshield, okay, to be able to block out some of the sun, still the heat coming into the cab through the windows, there it just was oppressively hot, and this unit could not keep up with it. I talked about the controls and the fact that this was only designed for keeping the cab comfortably cool. It did not heat. It did not provide any electricity. That was all this unit did, and in my opinion, it was not worth it. Okay, there were a great deal of limitations there. Supposedly, this unit was supposed to save money over the idling. Have no idea what the statistics were regarding that, but as far as we were concerned, this particular unit that we name on our website was a huge failure. Okay. Next, I moved on to what you might well know as an S-bar bunk heater, and the unit was designed, this particular one in the cab, to be able to keep the driver comfortable in the sleeper berth, and it had both just the heat setting and also a fan only setting. So it did not have any sort of a cooling mechanism associated with it. It did not provide electricity. It was only designed for heat. And this particular system was supposedly to utilize the truck's own diesel fuel and batteries to produce heat. Now, one time when we were in a situation when the temperatures were plummeting, sometime during the night, all right, the unit turned off, and it never turned back on. And I'm assuming what happened was the batteries were drawn down so far that it literally could not be powered. And I literally had to get up and put some clothes on and get back in my sleeping bag in order to keep from shivering because I was so cold, okay? And the outlet, I was able to redirect that airflow to a certain degree, but the light from just the vent part of that, the fan, when it was on by itself, it was bright blue. That really disturbed my ability to sleep, so I literally had to cover over that bright blue light there, but the red light didn't seem to bother me at all. Alright, obviously the S-bar bunk heater is not designed to provide electrification or cooling, and obviously you'll want to be able to stay warm in your truck when it's cold outside without having to idle your truck, and that's good from two standpoints: not wearing out your engine prematurely and saving fuel. Okay. It seems, I'm reading from this S-bar bunk heater page, it seems that some diesel-powered heaters like the S-bar bunk heater are dependent upon the charge stored in the batteries. If you do not have a large enough bank of batteries in your truck, or if you have drawn down the power stored in the batteries through the use of other appliances while the truck is turned off, you may not have enough power to keep the bunk heater on throughout your entire rest break. It would be interesting to know how long a bunk heater can keep a truck warm based on starting temperature in the truck. For example, assuming that the batteries are fully charged in both, would a bunk heater in a truck with a starting temperature of 30 degrees Fahrenheit run longer than one in a truck with a starting temperature of 0 degrees Fahrenheit? Okay, and then I give a link there. The manufacturer's website has calculators by which you may calculate, based on your input, your return on investment when you use an S-bar bunk heater instead of idling. And I would appreciate it, drivers, if you would provide a review on our website of the kind of APU or truck cooling device or truck warming device that you have in your truck and how well it is or is not working for you. All right, we've provided these two reviews on our website, and it is one of those situations where our experience is limited. All right. Now, obviously, there is more of a need for idling than just staying comfortable, and of course, we go into that with respect to our website, and there's a lot of information that you can get from some of these modern day trucks, a lot of the statistics and stuff like that, so that you will know where you stand with respect to your fuel mileage, your fuel economy. Okay, your fuel economy will go down if you idle for comfort, so just be aware of that. Okay, this is Vicki Simons with TruckDriversMoneySavingTips.com. If you've received value from this, please give likes, shares, and hearts. We would appreciate that. Until next time, my husband Mike and I wish you safe travels and lots of money-saving opportunities on the road. Be aware, cold weather's coming. If you haven't gotten your truck maintained for the cold weather just yet, now would be a good time to look into doing that. Have a great night, drivers. Thanks.